This episode is dedicated to Bernard Cribbins, who played Wilf in the Doctor Who series between 2007 and 2010, and who sadly passed away at the age of 93 on July 28th, 2022. In memory of this great actor, please don't forget to look up the sky and see the lights.
It's over, Captain. Your ship is ours.
Over my dead body. This ship contains the property of the British Empire.
People aren't property, Smythe.
Don't act all high and mighty with me. We both know you plan to take the slaves for yourself.
You make the same mistake all men like yourself make. You assume the rest of the world is as monstrous as you are.
Maybe you're right. Still, I don't think it matters either way. Because I win. Any last words? What? Tell me what's so funny.
I can't believe you don't understand.
I can put you through a world of pain before killing you, so tell me what the joke is.
I was stalling, you damnable fool.
It looked like you needed my help.
I'm most grateful, Miss Davies.
We've taken the ship, Captain. Are you ready to address the people below decks?
Yes, I am.
I am sorry for what you have been through. I know what men who look like me have done to you. But this is the day your ordeal ends. We're here to free you, and should you choose to join us, to take you somewhere better. My friends, welcome to Libertalia. Twelfth Doctor Fan Audios, Episode 7, Libertalia.
Enter? Ah, Mademoiselle Davies. How does this sound? We do not make war with the oppressed, but the oppressors.
Sounds like you, Captain. Yet, when your manuscript's complete, who will print it? Who will publish the story of the work we've done here in Libertalia? And who will believe it?
Excellent questions, Mademoiselle Davies. Questions I've yet to answer myself. But I suspect your visit isn't about my manuscript. Has Stu's expedition returned yet?
No, Captain. Some of the men are growing a bit anxious as to his return. They do not like being here with so few numbers.
We cannot change Captain Stu's itinerary. Even if we could, we would not, for we do not take such liberties over someone else. We Liberi allow each other to chart out our own courses. You know this, of course, or else you wouldn't be one of us.
So, how does your account of Libertalia go then, Captain?
Haltingly. One would not think that writing up a short account of my experiences would be so wretchedly slow. Still, Running the place pulls me away from writing about it. Now, let's greet the new Liberi and send off those who do not want to stay.
Captain, have you seen the strange lights up on the ridge?
You've seen them as well?
Yes, sir. I don't know what to make of them.
You want to know a secret, Mademoiselle Davies?
Of course.
I don't know what to make of them either. Let's go. We do not want forced men, as we don't make war with the oppressed, but with the oppressors. If you'd like to stay, we will make sure you can thrive with us. If you do not wish to stay with us and vow to not make war upon us, we will send you away with victuals and supplies to make landfall at Zangbar and from there to wherever you want. It's your choice. The Liberi merely want each person to chart their own course.
We don't make war with the oppressed, but oppressors. He says a version of that every time he greets a new group.
He means it every time.
Does he?
Absolutely.
Ah, the ignorance of youth.
You mean idealism.
I meant what I said, girl.
Cutting it a bit close to mutiny there, I think.
I just say what everyone's thinking.
Not everyone.
You know what I like about kitchens?
That you can make food in them?
Well, yes, but more than that. Kitchens are both themselves and something else. Kitchens show us ourselves.
How exactly does a kitchen do that?
Did I ever tell you about my friend Hestia? Now, she's someone who gets that kitchens are the heart and soul of the home.
Like the Greek goddess?
Exactamundo! Wait, forget you heard me say that. Hestia, she told me about the hearth being a symbol of home, of health, of sated hunger. And there's a space inside all of us where a fire needs to be kept stoked. Imperfect analogy, but still, it's one you find all the time with humans. Stoke the fires of imagination, blazing passions, whatever that means. There's warmth beside a fire, shelter from storms and night, cozy places in winter time to retreat to and have hot chocolate and s'mores.
Are you sure you're not just hungry?
That's always a possibility. Pass me the toast.
How would someone keep that little fire stoked, Doctor? Seems like there's plenty of things that would threaten to put it out.
Well, that's what the Vestal Virgins are for, to keep the fires going. We always had such fun, myself and the guards of the Temple of Vesta.
That's not an explanation, that's just the beginning of another of your stories.
Well, it would have been an ode, or an epic poem, if we'd got an old Ovid or Virgil to write it down.
We've just jumped from the Greeks to the Romans, and you still haven't answered the question.
You've been paying attention to our ancient history lessons. Excellent. You see? Done with breakfast, Ella? Because it looks like we may have a busy day ahead of us. We've landed, it seems.
Where? When?
Inconclusive. Guess we'll have to go outside and see. We're by the sea. We can taste the salt in the air.
Wow. Look at all the blues and greens and purples in the ocean. It's gorgeous. That horizon looks like it stretches forever. When are we?
Let's see. Mid-1690s? The year seems a bit vague. As if it doesn't know how to be itself. As if...
Is that normal?
Of course it is! Nothing to worry about!
Which means it's something to worry about.
Let's see what awaits us over
There!
Down the hill? This sort of steep, definitely full of rocks and sand hill?
Hard to go up it when we're already at the top.
Come on then. Let's get out of this wind.
Halt! Who are you?
Us?
Who else would I be talking to? You two come down off that ridge, right? Took you a while to get down here.
That's us.
You the cause of the funny lights we've seen up there recently?
Funny lights are my specialty. In figuring out why they're there, not in making them. I don't make funny lights. Or fireworks either. Bit too Gandalf if you ask me.
She doesn't know who Gandalf is.
Maybe, maybe not. Who are you?
I asked you first.
I'm the Doctor, and this is Ella.
I'm Seren.
So, funny lights.
Every so often I get a glimpse of a strange light up on the ridge. It flashes several times, then stops. Neither the captain nor I know what's causing it. We're reduced in numbers, and the nearby village of locals is increasingly unhappy with us. I don't know why. If it's them...
The captain?
Captain Jaques Misson. Captain of the Victory. Leader of the Liberi.
So, we're in Libertalia, is that it?
How did you...
Where?
Libertalia, home of the Liberi. A pirate haven off the coast of Madagascar.
We're not pirates.
You stop over ships and liberate the cargo?
Yes.
With letters of marque?
Well, no.
Pirates then?
We're making war against the world.
Sounds fine to me.
Of course you are, Seren. Anyone who goes up gallivanting from place to place is making war against something, even if it's themselves. I happen to be a bit of a pirate myself.
Making war against the universe, Doctor.
Only when I have to, and very poorly at that.
Really? Some of what I've seen, well, you're not just some tourist.
Full-time tourist, full-time rock star, occasional rebel against bad authorities, that's me. Anything else is just stories.
Well, the only authority here is the Liberi, and we voted for the captain to lead us. Perhaps you'd better meet him, as he's the one who can give you full leave to wander around the place and ask questions.
Lead the way.
Seren, if it's not too personal a question, how did you become a...
Pirate, as your friend here calls it?
Yes.
Circumstances. I want to make my own way in the world. My parents are both dead. My brother, Tristain, established in a profession. What was there for me but to strike out on my own? I had no desire to marry or teach, so I stowed away on a ship, found my way to the island of Johanna. After Captain Misson and his crew came there, assisted in the war the Queen waged, I joined the crew that established Libertalia. And you? How'd you come to be here?
Came on a ship like you.
Your trousers seem to indicate that you also defy society's expectations.
Lots of women wear trousers where I'm from.
London?
Yeah, but the women in Ireland wear trousers too.
Clearly things have changed since I left.
You're Captain Misson. What's he like? Two-dimensional?
I don't understand. The captain is... the captain. He's full of all sorts of ideas. Ideas about liberty and freedom and choice and how we should fight back against injustice.
That's what he says, not who he is.
Captain Misson is more than just talk. He's action. He's kind and generous and just. A good captain. You'll like him, I think. Let me introduce you and see if he can meet up with you.
Doctor, why are you being so weird? Weirder than normal, I mean.
Libertalia isn't a real place, Ella.
Not real?
Ever heard of Daniel Defoe?
Author of Robinson Crusoe?
The very same.
What's he got to do with this place?
He invented it. Well, there's debate on whether or not it was him who wrote a general history of the pirates under the name of one Captain Charles Johnson, but there isn't debate about the fact that Libertalia and Captain Misson are fictional.
Are we still in the land of fiction?
That's my working theory.
So we abandon them? Go back to the TARDIS?
Of course not. There's strange lights up on the ridge. We're part of the story now, even if Captain Johnson didn't include us in his narrative.
What if it is all real?
Then I'm wrong. I am, on occasion, wrong, but that's rare. Still, we should be cautious and keep our eyes open for anything that looks, well, anything that looks
Fictional. Not possible.
top of the class.
Captain's clerk says to come on in. The captain's just finishing up with someone, but we can wait in the hall.
I am sure that you understand my answer, Mr. Connelly. No one is to leave while Tew and his men are off on their expedition.
So you don't know when they'll be back?
No, I do not. And I heard tell that you are rabble-rousing among the men. I won't stand for it.
We're all free men here, ain't we? We've got liberty to say what we please.
We have also decided as a group to live together and follow certain laws which we wrote. We will not return to the ways that we have rejected, but move forward together into the future.
Am I dismissed, Captain?
You are. Have a pleasant evening, Mr. Connelly.
Hey, girlie. Who are these two?
None of your business, Connelly.
Must be new here if you've brought them to Misson.
Captain Misson.
Whatever. You, with the wild hair. What are you two doing here?
Came down off the ridge.
Wasn't talking to you, girl.
I have a name.
Ah, you're like Davies here, all bold as brass, don't know when her betters are talking. Let the men talk, girlie.
Aren't the Liberi all equals?
I suppose. Good evening.
What a complete arse.
Oh, an absolute pig. Let's go in, shall we?
Ah, Mademoiselle Davies. These the newcomers?
Yes, Captain. This one's the doctor, and that one's Ella.
Pleased to make your acquaintance. You two know something about the lights upon the ridge?
Not yet. But we can find out what's causing them. See if they're a danger to you and your people.
Stop them if they are.
I do not want trouble with a nearby village, Doctor. Ella, we have lived here for some time in peace, and I would like for that to continue. I do not think that they're the cause of the lights, but it would ease my mind to know what they are. I give you leave to walk freely among us.
Sir, if you'd permit me, I could go with them as an escort. Help translate, if need be.
Translation won't be an issue for us.
A man of learning, are you?
When you say man, do you mean human?
Doctor?
Right, well, Seren is welcome to come along. It's always useful to have local intelligence about and on the foot.
Excellent. I want to report upon your return. And Seren?
Yes, Captain?
Thank you for warning me about that Connelly fellow. Keep an eye out on that one.
You're welcome, Captain. I will.
Now, best be about your work.
He refuses to tell us what's going on. He won't explain the lights up on the ridge. He won't let us take our fair shares of the prizes we work so hard to win. He brings in new people without compensating us for it while giving them all the benefits of our hard work. Misson is no champion of liberty. He's a threat to it.
You're full of it, Tromp! Go back to the colonies, mates.
We need to make Libertalia better. Make it stand for the values we said it should.
It already does! Like you've got any ideas.
Why is it that the ship's captain is the person telling us what to do? Aren't we the Liberi? Aren't we slaves to no one? We want to be free. We want to be free.
That's right!
Get full of it! What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say, mate?
I think he's got a point, that Tromp.
I don't know why Misson hasn't done anything more about him than speak to him sharply. He pits the Dutch and the English against each other, pits them both against the French, the Portuguese, pits them all against the people who were enslaved and liberated by us when we stopped the slave ships. Tromp twists Misson's words and makes them into poisonous fumes of dissension and strife.
He deserves a swift punch in the teeth, he does.
We shouldn't punch people just because we disagree with them, Ella.
I don't just disagree with him, Doctor. He's stirring up trouble for no good, trying to get people to hate each other. Doesn't like what Libertalia seems to be all about. It looks like they have a good thing here and he's just trying to ruin it for his own gain. There's too many people like that in the world. And when they get power, any power, they hurt people. They make people suffer. And they like it. It's despicable. Take the Prime Minister, for instance.
Violence is never the answer.
Doctor, if that's true, then were we wrong to take the slave ships by the sword? The trading for those of our own species can never be agreeable to the eyes of divine justice. Nobody who believes in liberty can hold power like that over another human being. And if anyone thinks it's something they can do, then they're nothing more than barbarians.
Neatly paraphrased from a general history.
The captain said it, and he's right, I tell you. What we have done here is right.
Of course is right. And you're right to stop those ships. Slavery is intolerable, even when a person doesn't know they're enslaved. So, a caveat. Violence is never the answer unless all other answers are exhausted. Unless it's a last resort. Unless all you can say is no more. And all you can do is to make the suffering stop. I've caused too many people die for all sorts of things for my answer to be anything else.
I didn't say we should kill Tromp, just that he needed punching. Most people don't die from getting punched. I shouldn't need to tell you who he reminds me of.
No, you don't. Several candidates come to mind.
What's a general history?
Don't worry about that. Tell me, Seren, about this mountain range. When was it last scouted?
Probably when we first arrived, which was a while ago. The local village is to the southwest, and Captain Misson didn't want to bother them by coming too close too often. They've got their lives to live, same as us. We want to live in peace with them.
War against all the world, but peace with the village next door?
We only make war with oppressors, Doctor, and the villagers are not oppressors. And we don't want to become oppressors.
Of course not. See anything odd about the rock wall we're nearby to?
Just looks like plain old rock to me.
Ella?
Just rock, all greys and brown. No, wait. That's odd. Rock doesn't wiggle.
What do you mean by wiggle?
Looks weird, as if there's steam in front of the rock. Like when the grill is really hot and you slap burgers on it. Sort of a sizzly sort of look. You draw it with squiggly lines like this.
Why are you bending your fingers in the air?
Trying to describe what a rock wiggle looks like. Do keep up. It's over there.
I see it! Now, what is it?
Ah, that's not the question, Seren. We don't know what the wiggle's actually called, but now we know that it's there. We don't necessarily need to ask what it is.
What's the question then?
Here it comes.
The question is, what's behind the wiggle? Doctor?
Excellent question. It's a shimmer, and we're going to find out what's behind it right now.
Now let's find out what's causing those funny lights.
It's come to my attention, Mr. Connelly, that despite my orders, you have continued to rabble-rouse.
Ain't rabble-rousing as we ain't a rabble, sir.
You are to cease and desist from your slanderous remarks.
And what'll you do if I don't? Lock me up? That's what they do back home, after all. You want to be just like them, sir?
The Liberi...
I got my rights just like anybody else. You will not take my liberty!
Stop shouting, or I'll have to have you restrained.
You see, he wants to restrain me if I keep telling you all the truth. He doesn't want me to tell you the truth. He's trying to make this place just like the places we all came from. He's trying to make himself a king. He wants to rule over us, just like all of them have done in the past. Yes, he doesn't want us to be the Liberi. He never has. He wants us to be his slaves.
No, he doesn't! Tell us the truth, Misson.
Connelly is lying to you all.
No, the captain is lying. You can't trust a word he says. He'll restrain you if you disagree with him. All authorities are bad. He's an authority. They're all bad.
Connelly is a liar!
No, he isn't.
We can trust the captain. He's never misled us.
See how the captain confuses you, turns you against each other.
Everything he says is a lie.
It isn't!
Then what are you hiding at the top of the ridge?
I'm not hiding anything!
You see how he lies to us? How he keeps information to himself?
Tell us what's up on the ridge.
I don't know what's up there. You men, arrest Connelly!
Be honest with us!
We won't arrest him for telling us the truth.
Arrest the captain!
Get
Lock
him,
him up!
Come on.
Put him in
Lock
the
him up.
brig!
Get him. We're
Lock
telling us
him
the truth.
up!
Yeah,
Put him in the brig!
Get him. Come on. Go get him.
What are you doing? You tear Libertalia apart!
Doesn't matter to me, as long as I get what's mine.
This is mutiny!
This is revolution. Take him, boys!
Where'd they go?
What are they doing here? They were down in the village. Tromp, the captain? What happened to them?
Looks like some sort of stasis field.
I was unaware that anyone from this time knew what a stasis field was.
I'm not from this time.
With that get-up, clearly.
Ah! What did you...
Merely put Seren Davies in the stasis field with her contemporaries. She doesn't have the signature of a time traveller, so she doesn't get to be here for this little chat. Oh, she can see us. They all can. But they can't hear us. And they can't escape.
Like an audience, do you?
Who the hell are you?
The incivility is uncalled for, Miss Fitzallen.
How do you know who she is?
One question at a time. I'm the observer.
That's a name now.
Bold words coming from you, the Doctor.
That might be what you do, but who are you?
I observe. I record data, submit reports back home. In your terms, I'm a scientist.
Do a bit more than science, though, don't you? Putting people in stasis fields.
Only until a decision can be reached.
What sort of decision?
Well, it's more difficult now. Because until you two blundered your way into this situation, everything was on track for the ending of Libertalia, as history insists.
Libertalia isn't real. It's fiction.
Something the big bad Time Lord didn't know. Libertalia's as real as you or Miss Fitzallen here, or indeed, as real as me. But it's destined to be forgotten. You know how the story ends, don't you, Doctor?
If it were fiction, we could change.
But it's not, and you can't.
Can't change what?
Misson will write it that it came without provocation, but some of Captain Two's men have been less than honourable members of Libertalian society. They anger the village, and the village retaliates, sweeping in at night, killing indiscriminately.
Without distinction of age or sex, it says.
They escape with 45.
45? But there's hundreds of people down there.
Allah, I know. And they leave Libertalia and, off Cape Infenta, they run into a storm. And the Victory goes down.
With the loss of all on board, no more Misson, no more Libertalia, no more anachronisms.
Anachronisms? That's what you care about?
Believe me, no one is as pleased as myself to see such concepts as universal suffrage, democracy, abolition, women's rights cropping up in the 1690s, but they don't belong here.
But if they cropped up, that means they belong here.
Well, no, they don't. Not until later.
So you'd let people keep suffering because you think it's too soon for that suffering to stop? How up yourself do you have to be to think you're in charge of that?
I am simply following orders.
That's an excuse for far too many cowards. But you said a decision had to be made. About what?
I'm allowed to take a guest with me when I return to my time and place. The plan was to lure the three up here with the lights I've recently been allowing to be seen every so often. These three are my options. The man with grand ideas, the woman with dreams of a better future, and the man who opposes both ideas and dreams. I must admit, Connelly's a favourite of several of the researchers back home. His psychology is endlessly fascinating.
Yeah, if you want to constantly vomit.
Do they get a choice to come with you, once the decision's made?
Oh, absolutely. We're not in the business of abduction.
But let me guess. You don't tell them the future.
We wouldn't want to unduly influence them.
Unduly influence them?
The integrity of the experiment is paramount. Speaking of which, our bylaws state that whenever there's a representative of Earth present, they must make the choice of guest.
I don't think I can.
No, not you, Doctor.
Excuse me?
You are not human. Therefore, you are not Earth's representative.
I'm president of the planet, though.
Not in this time period, and the rules explicitly disallow proxies.
I don't think there's time limits to my presidency. I've got to ask Kate about that.
Then who?
You, of course. Ella Fitzallen. Human, born on Earth, temporary planetary representative.
Me?
Do you see any other humans here?
Other than the ones in the stasis fields?
Ella.
What if we left right now, went back to the ship and went away?
Then I would get to choose who comes with me. A choice I've been looking forward to for months.
Okay then, Mr. Observer. What happens to your guest?
They're interviewed. They go on a publicity tour. We set them up with a salary and let them live out their natural lives wherever or whenever they choose.
Ella, we don't know
if I'm lying or not. Of course you would raise that aspersion on my character, Doctor. A liar knows a liar. If you have any reason to doubt me, you can always visit the Observation Institute, 75th Century, and make an inquiry there. There's a bit of a queue, I must admit, but...
I'll be sure to drop in and make a visit. I'm good at queues.
I suspect you are. If a guest disagrees with how they're treated, they're more than welcome to make a complaint to the Institute's management. Now, Fitzallen, who do you choose?
What? Huh? What is happening?
Captain Jaques, Misson? Educated, full of ideas, French.
Ah!
Seren Davies, Irish pirate wench. Boring choice, if you ask me.
Hey, what the...
Or Tromp Connelly. New Englander, intriguing psychology, a temper. He's my favourite, of course. Bound to make the publicity circuit interesting.
Ella, what's going on?
Doctor?
This is who was making the funny lights up on the ridge.
You and your little friend kidnapped us, didn't you? You're working with this man to kill all of us.
Can you hear yourself?
Could we get back to the important conversation? Thank you.
If Seren wants to go, she should be your guest.
You don't need time to consider. Connelly?
No. If what you said is true, and it had better be, then it should be Seren who gets to go.
Oh, you would pick... All right, then. I'll ask her.
Where did the captain just go?
My guess, back to Libertalia. Tromp too.
I'm confused. Did the Observer say the 70th...
Are you going to ask her or not?
Miss Davies, would you like to take a trip with me and see the stars?
The stars? As in the heavens?
Yes, to the future too.
And what will I see in the future?
Anything and everything you want. You've seen more of your world than many in this time, but you've seen very little in comparison to the universe. In answering our questions about your life in this era, you get to have everything you want.
What about my brother?
What about him?
Will I see him again? If I go with you?
I'm afraid not. He'll be here and now, and you'll be there and then. Bit difficult to arrange visits.
Can he come along? His name's Tristain Davies, and he's a law clerk in London. We could pick him up before we go.
No plus ones.
Can I say goodbye?
Not allowed, my apologies.
You're disgusting.
And yet you want me to go with this man?
It's an opportunity to make your own way, chart your own course, be everything you want to be.
But Tristain, I have never written to him. I never told him that I was going to the sea. He'll never know what happens to me if I go.
Look, I've got a brother, Jacob. I haven't spoken to him in years. And if I had to make this choice, I'd know what you were feeling, and it's an impossible choice. I know it is, but if you stay, you'll end up dead.
Miss Fitzallen?
You never said that the planet's representative couldn't tell their choice anything about the future. And if your stupid rules do say something about that, then to hell with them.
Dead?
The village will attack, the ship will go down, it's all written in a book. It's going to happen because it has happened.
Is this book the general history the doctor mentioned?
Yes, it is.
And it can't be changed?
Not this time, no, apparently. Everything has its time, and everything eventually comes to an end. It's what we do with our time in between that matters. It's our choices that matter.
I'm waiting for an answer.
I'm waiting for an answer. Not everything is about you.
I've never been someone to pass up an opportunity for adventure. I just worry about my brother.
We can tell him somehow.
About this? Why would you ever explain all this to him? No, Ella. I've missed my chance to speak to my brother. But promise me, should you get a chance to speak with yours, don't waste it. Okay?
Okay.
Then I choose to go.
Finally.
We'll make sure that the Observer keeps his promise, Seren. We'll take direct action if we must.
We'll be there to help if you need it.
Goodbye, Doctor. I understand. Goodbye, Ella.
If I never see either of you again, I'll be very happy indeed. Have a good day!
How the...
Must have transported us here when they left. Uncomfortable teleports. Kind of leaves one feeling a bit, well, crackly.
Libertalia will be alright, won't it? Until they're not.
As far as I know, yes.
And Misson will finish his manuscript, and Tromp will be his awful self, and Seren...
We'll have to follow up with his observation institute. I don't like it when somebody I don't know about shows up on the planet I protect. And I didn't like the Observer. He didn't tell us his name.
I mean, I don't know your name, Doctor.
You just call me by it.
Doctor?
That's my name. Don't wear it out.
Will Seren be okay? If the Observer hurts her?
Already under control. After the Observer said that they could see but not hear us, I used the sonic to make sure that they could do both. Full transparency. It's just a simple setting on standard stasis fields, really. And simple enough that the Observer wouldn't notice me doing it. Like an audience, do you?
That's why she knew the Observer's name. And the century the Observer's from. Both of those were mentioned before the stasis fields were dropped. So she's going in there with both eyes open.
Exactly. And there's enough in that little chat of ours for her to figure out what to do next. Seren got herself all the way from Ireland to the Indian Ocean. I have no doubt she can handle one officious Observer.
Very impressive. You all do a lot of observing.
That's our job. Now, our next step.
I'd like a decent amount of coin and a ship, as soon as possible.
I'm sorry, what?
Do you not use coins in the 75th century? Whatever your currency is, I expect a generous amount of it. And a ship. Perhaps a sloop? Something sleek and fast anyway.
We did not bring you here to...
To make my own decisions? To pursue my own dreams?
To make demands. You're our guest.
I will not be made a part of anyone's cabinet of curiosities.
You will do as I say until said time that your contract expires.
To you, I may be a boring Irish wench, but I'm also one of the Liberi. The only one left, if I understood right. I put my name to no contract.
You agreed to come with me.
To see the stars, you said. That's not a contract, that's an invitation. And we're on a planet. You cannot keep me against my will, for to do so would make me not a guest, but a prisoner. I have no desire to be a prisoner, paraded about as if I were your prize won in battle.
You have to answer our questions.
You never said when. So I'd like that salary now, before I answer any questions from anyone.
If you have a complaint with how you've been treated, you
can take it up with your management? No. That is not how the Liberi deal with oppressors.
You wouldn't.
But you're not sure about that, are you? Money, transportation, all in my name, and then we'll see about answering questions.
I'll need to have a conversation with management.
Oh ho ho! We'll both be in that conversation. Lead on.
Did I make the right choice?
No right choices to be had in a situation like that. If you're chosen Misson, maybe the account never appears in the book. If Connelly, his ilk gets to go to the 75th century, a definite reward for atrocious behaviour. But you chose Seren, and she never sees her brother again. There's always consequences to the choices we make, even when we make the right ones.
The law of unintended consequences.
Exactly.
But if we spend all the time worried about the consequences we don't intend, how do we get the consequences we do want? How do you make the world a better place if you're worried about offending people? If you're worried about saying the wrong thing, and so you're walking on eggshells around others?
The eggshells of the mighty green-billed coral snapper make great flooring. There's a whole section of...
Don't try to distract from the question, Doctor.
You don't have to worry about it.
Maybe that's a luxury you can have, Doctor, but not everyone can spend their time waiting for the Tromps of the world to stop while tromping over everyone else. And I've seen you in action plenty of times now. You don't wait for things to get better. You don't just sit around and let others do the fighting. You get up and you take a stand and you say no. And you make the world a better place.
Not always. Unintended consequences, remember? I do try to, though. And I think that's what matters. I choose to try, and so do you. That's how we get the consequences we want.
It's our choices that matter.
Exactly.
But our choices don't always get us what we want, or when we want it. We may never see the results of our right choices.
True.
Then how can we keep making those choices? They're harder to make than the choices that let the Tromps win.
That's the burning question which each person finds an answer to on their own.
A burning question? I think I figured it out.
What?
How you're supposed to keep your inner hearth from going out.
What hearth?
The one inside each person's metaphorical kitchen.
That one, right. How so?
Hope. Small, right choices, made each and every day. Persistence. Belief in the better future that your choices will make despite what everyone else may be telling you. Pushing past obstacles.
In other words, stubbornness. You punch that wall ahead of you with all you've got, and eventually it'll crack wide open, and you'll step out into the sunshine.
Can we find out what happened to Tallis and Davies?
Absolutely. Right before we drop in and visit Seren.
Hello?
Hi, Jacob? It's me. I know it's been a long time and maybe you won't want to talk to me, but
Ella, are you okay? Do you need my help?
I'm finally ready to talk now. Could we meet?
Absolutely. Give me a time and a place and we'll make it work. I'm glad you called, Ella.
So am I.
Libertalia starred Guillaume Babey as the Doctor and Jaques Misson, Laura Selwood as Ella Fitzallen, Eleanor Shannon as Seren Davies, Rob Shade as Tromp Connelly, Tristain White as The Observer, Jonathan Scholey, Seth Hershman and Sean Dillon as the Libertalians, and Lewis Chandler as Jacob Fitzallen. It was written by Laine Ferio, directed by Andrew Davies, sound edited by Fergus MacDonald and Andrew Davies, and scored by Terry Fairchild, Thomas Hartwell, Hudson Media, and Dillon O'Hara. Special effects were sourced from Subsplat, BBC Rewind, and Free Sound. TARDIS and Sonic Screwdriver special effects were sourced from TARDIS S-Effects and the Doctor Who Music Project. Don't forget to subscribe to the 12th Doctor Fan Audios YouTube channel.